If you're using the commercially approved Hip Hop Beats 127 track, it's an auto scroll for people.
I think the positivity of the Swiftie culture overwhelms the negativity of woke culture.
The more you think about what you want the expected reaction to be, like the less likely you're going to get it.
Ashwin, if you were planning American Eagle's next collab, who's it going to be?
Oof. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brand Fathers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in partnership with Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin, I present the Brand Fathers. Guys, how you doing? And what you want to tell me about your favorite cruise missile?
Oh my gosh. Right out the gate. What's the matter with you?
So you're not going to pick this is the whole thing that we pitched to them was we'd lead off with a cruise missile breakdown. And here we are, just reneging on our brand deals once again. The father's favorite firearms, a gift guide for holidays this year. No, specifically we said large platform weapon deployment systems.
Indeed.
LPWDSs, obviously.
Business is booming for them, that's for sure. I don't know if they need us.
Yeah, thank you to the European Union for continuing to support American industry. All right, anyway, what do we got to touch on today?
Why are you doing this to us? In 5, 4, here we go. We have a lot this week, ladies and gentlemen. We have the U.S. Open is being played. Travis Kelce and some young woman also got engaged. Travis Kelce also has a new collection with American Eagle, which is making headlines and is perfectly timed. Does anybody have more media attention than American Eagle this year? What else we have? Nano Banana. The U.S. government is getting a rebrand and has a chief design officer now, I think. And Ashwin, I think we have something happening in the world of Cracker Barrel and Red Lobster that you will likely fill us in on. Where should we start?
Do we circle the wagons that Cracker Barrel reneged their rebrand? We start there.
Yeah, I think we start there and we talk about what they should do. And here's what they should do, right? So number one, there's this like stat or this number that's been floating about where people are like, oh, it's a $700 million rebrand. It was like stated on TV. And it's like,
okay.
The cost of doing there's a 0% chance the cost of doing a rebrand was $700 million. Like,
okay, that includes like putting new furniture in every location.
Exactly.
Exactly. There were $30 million spent on consultants.
Yes. Which is like
$30 million rebrand,
yes,
which is
more
still,
like the figure, which is a lot, but it's not nearing $1 billion just to change the logo. And I think number one, there was a lot of misinterpretation around that, but they have now gone back to the original logo because of this backlash. I think this whole kind of like back and forth is stupid because it doesn't even address the core problem that this company has, which is the quality of food is going down. And the people who work there talk about it. The people who eat there talk about it. So it's like you make it old, you make it new. It just doesn't fucking matter. You know,
rent is too damn high. That's what it comes back to.
You have to fix the fundamental issue. And it's like, I think a lot of big corporations do this thing where they'll say, hey, our stock's tanking. Our investors aren't happy. We need to signify a shift. And so we're going to go in and signify the shift by just like making things look different. And for Cracker Barrel, it's probably like the assessment to the investors is, hey, because we're making this kind of like neat and clean and simplifying everything, our stores are going to become more efficient because we're going to get rid of a lot of like cruft and like hotkeys that like don't scale, right? Which is like,
I love the cruft, you know?
All the patina, they're getting rid of it, right? And
my wife is available for these clean outs, to just clean out all the clutter. She loves nothing.
Our kids are available. If you want to pay our kids part of the $100 million rebrand, we'll send them in there to clean out the patina.
Yes, indeed. But this is your original point on Jaguar, right, Ashwin? Like, they didn't need a rebrand. They needed to update the product. Like, the product was fundamentally...
They needed to announce that they were bringing Dunkin' coffee into Cracker Barrel.
Yes, that's what they need.
Honestly, we would have stock... America runs on Dunkin'.
Indeed.
Anything. We're just importing IHOP products into Cracker Barrel now. But it's that's the kind of like fundamental issue. And I think I don't know if you guys have been watching this like Red Lobster turnaround, but they have a very kind of like dynamic young CEO at the helm. He has been making a ton of content where he's just like out here and he is accepting the faults and critiques that people have of Red Lobster. He was like, hey, we took these items off the menu. You guys are super pissed about it. So we're bringing them back. Hey, you guys were upset about this. We're doing this. And he's like out here on tour on TikTok, just like making these face to camera videos that are like entertaining. But people are like, oh shit, he's like listening, right?
Mm-hmm. They're calling him the Pete Buttigieg of the sit-down food industry.
He's the Bob Iger of terrible restaurants.
My concern, every time I see him, he seems to be doing such a good communications job and like handling the right things that I'm afraid that it's going to go bad somewhere, that then we can't use it as a playbook. I'm afraid there's going to be like some kind of pyramid scheme or something, so then we can't point to it as an example, because it looks like it's headed towards like the exact playbook any of us would preach.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good, and like he's young and he gets it. Domino's had done a similar thing, in like the early 2000, maybe like 2009, 2010 actually, where their pizza sucked. Their pizza was super bad, and they came out and they're like, yeah, our delivery time sucks. The pizza sucks. We're going to make everything better, and we're also building this app with a fucking pizza tracker, and you can see where your pizza is, and like, hey, they changed like customer perception and they delivered a higher quality product, and like Domino's like turned around, had like a 10-year.
I was in college at the time when they swapped to the new Domino's pizza. Fucking takeover, dorm takeover. I'm just saying, it was like, oh, it's actually good. That was a good turnaround story.
Yes. So I don't know if like I've spent time on Reddit just like looking at Cracker Barrel reviews and like what people are talking about. There's a Cracker Barrel subreddit, and it's just like,
as one does,
about how the food isn't what it was, which is just a universal theme across fast food, fast casual, any kind of like chain scaled food. This is a conversation.
We're back down.
Yeah, that's true. But let me ask you,
Chick-fil-A, and they're closed on Sundays.
But hold on, as somebody who went to Cracker Barrel growing up, is it possible that the people just grew up and realized that the food sucked?
Like the food was never that good to begin with?
Yeah, it was never good.
It was kind of better. Yeah,
indeed. Yeah. Like the feature of the food is that it is like rich and unhealthy and
yeah, but it's not. I don't think people are looking for them to present the sweet green salad as the alternative. I think it's just genuinely just not that great. And they should probably bring in, again, who is it? Pine Baron. I don't know how deep you guys are on right adjacent Twitter, but he was being like, why would they not bring in these 17 Southern chefs to fucking redo the menu? You know, I'm like, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There's, without going too deep into the TikTok hole that I went into, I was listening to like a lot of people who work at Cracker Barrel, like in the kitchen, and who have worked there at different periods in time.
Ashwin has gone deep.
And they're
actually really showing off his brand audit process.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm there on Reddit. I'm voice of the customer and the employee.
That's right.
What are the employees saying, dude? What are the front lines people saying? And it's like all of them in the kitchen.
Cracker Barrel in-store employee review. Yeah.
They're all like, listen, we've cut half of our kitchen staff. This is how it used to be set up 10 years ago, and that led to like a certain output of a quality of food. This is what we're expected to do now with a lot less. Here is also differences in like where the food comes from a purveyor standpoint, and how it's already processed before it gets in. Like we used to cook things here, now we're like reheating these elements. So when people are like, hey, the food is like more bland and it's like not salty enough, it's like, yeah, all of these changes have an impact, and that's the crux of the issue. That's the hardest shit to fix, though.
It wasn't about the old man in the barrel.
No, who cares
about the old man in the barrel? Although, and it's so funny. I don't know. Like I made this video about that, like in jest, right? Like obviously, like I have some passion about the topic, but it's like a funny video at its core. Where people are the amount of people that email me like, I was also equally as upset about the man with the barrel, and I was like, oh, my brother, this is performance art. But yeah, but I think it's interesting to note that like the access to the kitchen. Like I think about this a lot. We've talked about the Ulta program, Ulta and Sephora, like in-store influencer programs with their employees before. You know, I saw some videos the other day from like a Sephora employee or somebody that was just ripping an in-store brand. And it's part of their in-store program that they allow their employees to talk about. And they're just dumping on somebody. I'm like, oh, they can't control this. They can't say you have to have a positive narrative. And so this like relatively sassy employee was just hammering some poor brand. And it's just like that level of access is crazy. Because I was thinking about my experiences. I worked at a bunch of fast food and restaurants. They all sucked except for Chick-fil-A, where we cut fresh chicken constantly, where we were like, it was one of those where I was like, oh, I don't feel bad eating here at all. I've never felt that way about a place that I've worked from a fast food perspective. But like, imagine if this was that conversation, like, and the employees were being like, actually, you know what? Like Chick-fil-A was not a bad job whatsoever for that industry. And like the difference in that and how far we've gone down in employee experience inside any of these places, right?
I just hear corporation when you say that, Ashwin. You know, it's across the board when you're driving shareholder value. It's like, how do we squeeze profit maximization out of every element of this? Out of the food, out of the staff? Like, can we cut people? Can we get cheaper food? You know, that just sounds like the story of most large corporations that have to deliver shareholder value.
Is Chick-fil-A public?
Don't think so. No,
it's private, right?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Southern Empire, but they know what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And then Raising Cane's marquee. But moving over into, I want to shift the cultural narrative into the Taylor Swift marriage. So a couple things that came out of this. Brands responding. Brands are just like, cool, we'll just use people's iconography and graphics and photos now, and like legal be damned, which I'm generally in favor for. But then there's all this like critique about the ring. Like, is the ring ushering in a new era of like conservative right-wing fashion? And then there's our boy Travis Kelce and his brand deal. Any initial thoughts from you guys before we go into the American Eagle effect?
I'm just not sure that I've ever seen anybody be able to capture the attention as much as, I mean, this celebrity couple is just on a heater right now.
As one of the most talented stars of our time, Jordan.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, just the last couple, though, you know, you think maybe Bieber and Haley, maybe Brangelina, like 20 years ago, but
Tim and Kylie, I mean, you know, sitting courtside at that Knicks game next to Ashwin, you know.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true. Well, yeah, I mean, we have I'll bring up these engagement photos in case anybody hasn't seen them, and the amount
I think you're probably good, brother. I think pretty much everyone can visualize the carousel at this point. I know I've just been auto-scrolling it since it came out, whenever I need inspiration.
Well, I mean, the funniest thing to probably us is the day after he launches an American Eagle collaboration, who has been in the news already this year with perhaps one of the most talked about collaborations with Sydney Sweeney, or just her campaign. And then the day after this, like, I just can't imagine that they even
two things I think that are at play here that I thought were fascinating. The first is, so there's two scenarios, right? One is this was basically a planned American Eagle new post-engagement campaign, that this was like worked through with Travis's camp, whatever. I think that's option one, which is totally possible. Option two is that they had this collab with the contract signed, they could launch whenever, and then they just did it and had like a relatively ironclad contract that got them through the Sydney Sweeney drama. They're like, look, you signed this thing, Travis, we made this collection, all the stuff is shot, you're not getting out of it, even though I'm sure their PR team was unhappy about it, and we can drop it whenever we want, and they just happened to ride it. And I'm very curious which one this was.
I think it's option 3, Oren. I actually think there's no chance in hell he would share that this was going to happen with American Eagle employees and or agency, because that would leak someone.
That's fair.
2, I think that it was scripted. We're a week away from kickoff. So all of this stuff has to go up. Like, there's NIL athletes featured.
This is luck timing.
Totally luck. I think it's absolutely luck. You know, and in a similar way,
Eagle gal behind this partnership, I'm never acknowledging. I am to everybody being like, look at this wizardry that I was able to pull off.
Absolutely, totally. And I mean, I think one of y'all said last time, like, I don't think they planned I don't think they ever thought they were going to get that Sydney Sweeney, you know, blowback. I don't think that was intentional.
Yep.
But now they've gotten 2 of the most high visibility moments of the year for a brand, and it's pretty wild.
If I'm that CMO, I'm leaving next year.
Absolutely.
You got to leave at the top.
How are you going to follow that up?
Yeah, so if them stumbling into this, I kind of hadn't considered I'm always assuming someone has to have a strategy. Them stumbling into this twice is actually one of the most like legendary karmic swings, possibly, where it's like, hey, you just got dumped on for this thing that like arbitrarily was like bad at best, but certainly not a crisis. And then now we're going to repay you by associating your brand with our first lady, like in perpetuity.
First lady being Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Not my brother.
Yeah,
she's an immigrant. I'm sorry. I'm just
yes.
It's a meta joke. All right. So, but with this, they announced this. I want to dive a step deeper into the American Eagle campaign, because it's Travis Kelce with his insane haircut. These clothes are some are good, some are bad. Most of them are bad. But then he had a smorgasbord of young talent aside him that are the grandfather's son, Antonio, very quickly pointed out were some known entities.
Yep. And here's the haircut.
I mean, legendary.
Yep. And then he's cruising in.
Like look at the fit on that sweater. Not a bad cable knit, but just a crazy, like, loose.
So that's AZ Fudd. She was at, or is at UConn women's basketball, and also Paige Becker's girlfriend. Oh, sick. Then you have a bunch of NIL college athletes here. So
guys, was surrounded by other athletes, including Carmelo Anthony's son. Did I hear that?
Yes. That was one of them. Let's see. We'll go to American Eagle.
So
and they have
this to me is just this example of like the brand universe. They took a marquee anchor star, the Detroit Lions Week 6 opponent, tight end. And then they surrounded him with a bunch of young talent to do like basically complete world building for their campaign. No trad models. Every single person is NIL. All of them have their various content and deliverables around this. This is a pretty well done, sophisticated campaign for what looks like a extremely mediocrely designed American Eagle line.
Indeed. Travis Kelce, you're just going to get eyeballs in general based on his rise
then you get the
over the last
down eyeballs of, oh, my kid knows this other person or this other athlete, or hey, I might recognize one of them. Who are these other people? Okay, now I'm entering a world. Oh, they're all athletes. I don't know. I feel like this has some pretty good storytelling, has a bunch of demographics in here, different sports, different whatever. Again, it just seemed remarkably well put together. Obviously, they are a massive brand that like does that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this is very current.
I also want to call out 2 things.
3,000 likes on her non 4x5 carousel.
Well, yes. God,
shout out Suni.
Jeez. I noticed on hers, and I think on the other, but comments are disabled.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was looking for
because again, this is ironclad contract land. This the only. I agree they got lucky, sure. Yep. But they got lucky because they had an iron fucking clad contract. They were like, all you people sign this shit, you are going to post. We paid you these massive checks. If you think you're getting out of it for whatever reason, like we will bury you. Like that was the conversation with legal.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think these
comments are off on all of them, but 104,000 likes. Right. His comments off, the new comments on.
Well, I was looking at who was turning comments off and who would keep them on.
Does Killer Trav have comments off, or is that just desktop Instagram?
Let's see. I don't think so.
Yeah, because you see the comment count actually.
I know on one of them
might just be Instagram desktop. Which
Instagram desktop doesn't show comments for me typically.
It. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm scrolling through Brandfather's IT.
Yep, IT working through here. Well,
they're on the opposite end hours, so we actually don't get the access to them until midnight.
Yeah. Kian Anthony. Yep. So they pulled athletes from all different walks of life. But
they got comments on American Eagle.
Yes. We have Sydney Sweeney, and then that rolls into who else? Jeremiah Jefferson, what's his name? Jeremiah Smith, the baller wide receiver at Ohio
comments
State.
On. Anna Frey has comments on.
Okay. How about
AZ Fudd has comments on.
Okay. And are they generally positive sentiment?
Yeah, like you go girl, nice to see you have a photo shoot with Mr. Swift.
Yep.
Bro, I think the positivity of the Swiftie culture overwhelms the negativity of woke culture.
Yep.
It's not like a crazy thing to say, but it seems like that's the case here. Or obviously they have they're using some really sophisticated listening and response software that goes across everyone's account.
I think it's also just important to know, Ash, when you called this out, most normal.
It was fabricated hate. But then we saw the comments on our article. Maybe that was just marketing industry people that are so caught up in journalism that they can't think for themselves. But we got a bunch of hate.
It completely is. It is and you see this when you work at these large places. Like every agency and every big corporation is in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, or in sporting goods.
Suni has comments off.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn.
Well,
so
yeah, but go ahead.
Yes, no, I think Jordan, that is an important point. I think it ties back to the Cracker Barrel. It's I was even looking at where the profit offices are, right? It's in all the big cities.
New York City.
If you have these high IQ, East Coast, West Coast, types, it's the same thing that happened to the Democratic Party, right? It was just staffed by Ivy League elite for 25 years, lost touch with the working class, and then they're like, dude, you abandoned us.
And it's exactly that.
We did this to ourselves. And it's the same thing happening with all these consultants. And I'm highly aware of this as I live in New York City. I've lived on the East Coast my entire life. And we also talk about marketing and branding. And so when I'm looking at ads or things like this, I almost try to keep myself from thinking about it too much. I'm just what is the gut check instant thing to this? I was like, oh, okay.
And also there's agencies for this. So I remember the agency at Record at Remington. Long story, but had some work with them way back in the day. They had an agency called Trumpet, and it's trumpetadvertising.com. Mm-hmm. And Trumpet is a believable branding for believable brands or something like that. It's their tagline, literally which kind of makes fucking sense. But it's hey, the tourism board of Louisiana, Sazerac House, Camo, they have all the things you'd expect, but it is a heartland. I think we went to their offices in Atlanta or Dallas or wherever it was. And these agencies exist. And so I would just be like, it's not like there aren't a myriad of options that can properly service like that category. And I don't even know if this is the same agency, actually. This may even be a different...
Based out of New Orleans, it says.
Yeah, so this actually may be a separate
another
trumpet
advertisement,
it was trophy or whatever. But like but even them, that just happened to be the same name, happen to have that same thing. It's like not like there aren't options that understand that world. That's just in the RFP process. They're blown away by, profiteer ecosystem.
Yes. Well,
we need those big city people to help understand our heartland customer.
Well, this agency, God, who is escaping me right now, but they did all like
American Eagle. I mean, maybe it's just internal, maybe it's whatever, but like they pulled together a well-rounded set of athletes. They got the most marquee of celebrities, like by association, and had ironclad contracts. I got to give them a high grade.
Yeah, it is a high grade. I mean, even if they lucked into this engagement, then so be it. But selecting somebody like Travis Kelce, you are going to get a large, number of conversations. Same with Sydney Sweeney, and then
I think one of the main critiques of the Sydney Sweeney campaign is it was just her, and so I also wonder if they added in some of these other athletes after. But here's the thing: is like I love this idea of an anchor influencer, something I made content about for a while, where it's like, hey, if you get somebody at a Travis Kelce level, say you pay some marquee star, it's much easier to get the talent around it. Like even we see this in cosmetics all the time. If a big influencer posts right away, all the seeding kits suddenly have a higher post rate because people want to be associated with that anchor. And so I do think like when you are putting these together, people say, oh, why should I get some big celebrity or whatever? It's like, hey, it's actually easier and you get more out of all the people that surround it that you pay less for. And that's a marquee marketing thing to think about.
Yeah, it's a good call. And it makes everything so much easier. I would add another nuanced layer to this, which is he has a brand, True Colors, TRUKO.
What was Nelly's brand? Truck Fit, or is that Lil Wayne's brand?
Yeah, I can't remember. But
it's TRU Colors, right?
TRU Colors.
Yeah. on a fucking tear, bro. I'm just saying.
He really is.
He seems like a kind of guy really fucking. He would fit in with the gang,
I'm telling you, I worked with him at Nike Football, and I always felt like, and we did more than probably most people were doing with them at the time, but like, I was like, this dude is a star. Like, he has it. He's just got the charisma. He's cool. He's swaggy. Like, he's not like...
his handle's Killatrav with an A.
Killatrav. I mean...
colors with a U, and he just doesn't give a fuck, which I appreciate.
He does not. This dude will roll up in just like Louis denim, a full denim Louis fit. I mean, he's just...
I love that this is the dude who's married Taylor Swift and is now going to be like the formative presentation of what like an alpha male looks like. I love that we've swung fully back to just a full bra.
Yeah, total bra. But he's like, anyway, but True Colors, I'm guessing, is probably not killing it. I don't know. Maybe it is. But
they're about to get a new customer.
He's invested in making True Colors great. And if you tap into business...
I love this.
Absolutely. True Colors.
My God, it's TRU and then a K. True Colors and a K.
That's what I said. That's why I spelled it.
I didn't even process.
Yes.
It's
TK. What's so funny though?
I'm the True Colors customer. I love this.
Yeah, where's the True Colors?
I'm copping ironically, but like it's happening. I'm about to be in the signature TK Sherpa bomber.
I love how we got this silky button down.
Gosh, Ashwin, that's you, buddy.
To this like Ralph Lauren's looking stuff.
Well, to me, the American Eagle thing just looked kind of like a takedown ALD campaign in some way.
Yeah.
That has just lived on for 5 years now, every brand. But
good for him. Instead of the $200 shirt, it's $39.95. So I'm all in on True Colors.
Indeed. True Colors, we love it.
$200 shirt economy now, or do we save that?
We could probably save that.
I had some people getting lit in the YouTube comments. I kind of bashed ALD in the YouTube comments the other day where I'm like, look, really, it's just like they have given junior investment bankers the ability to buy into streetwear. And they're giving them a purchase entry point in the streetwear culture, and they're paying a tax for it that goes directly into their pockets, and people didn't appreciate it.
I saw that. I saw some good takes. I went down a TikTok rabbit hole of like New York, women talking about this concept.
New York women do not like the ALD consumer archetype.
The crowd. Well, I got to tell you, as somebody who was a fan of the brand years ago, every time I go back in there now, I look around and they just have all these little like... they've created this little mascot of like all these people trying to be Teddy Santis, like they have all the same look, like they've got a trench coat with the hoodie and some, New York Yankees hat with the ALD cursive. And then they're wearing the New Balance shoes, and you're just like
headed to a FIDE happy hour. Yeah,
it's like a complete caricature, and it's made me like I respect what they've done. I think it's amazing, but it's made me be like,
the thing I always highlight, like they make beautiful, high quality clothes, but it's
same. I'm kind of like they've kind of created this monster with their consumer base, and it's turned me off a bit from the brand.
I think there's the biggest thing about brands like that is you can respect brands like that. Again, I respect the quality of their clothes, respect the brand building they've done. But then there's the do I make a purchase crossover? Like I purchase a lot of clothes in that exact price point, and that's just a brand who'd be like, that's just not worth the money,
Yeah.
Ashwin, if you were planning American Eagle's next collab, who's it going to be?
Oof.
I'm done. Like I said, if I'm the CMO, I'm out of there.
You got to put the nail in the coffin on the haters.
We're bringing Sydney Sweeney back for round 2.
Yo, my guy, gluttony for punishment.
Doubling down. Doubling down.
Yo, so what's the campaign? You did great. Are you running Great Jeans back, or are you changing the copy?
We're running it back. We're leaning in even harder.
You got to figure out like another needling pun,
a 23andMe collab?
Something like that. 23. That would be amazing.
No, I think the marketing team has to get out of there. They're at the top right now. So
yeah, you're right. They
can't go back. I think now it's almost like the pressure is on because they're going to try to like over-engineer something, and it's like the more you think about what you want the expected reaction to be, like the less likely you're going to get it. So
yeah,
I think it's tough place to be.
Right, I'm just saying, me and American Eagle, not American Eagle Island, but like American Eagle Rush. I'm just saying they bring the top. The top Rush Talk, out for a series of competitive challenges in the Midwest.
Yep.
Let's go.
Speaking of, just it's a meritocracy and not your genes, but totally lean into just your genetics on sororities and getting into Ivy League schools. I'm sure that would go over well.
They call what's it called? A legacy?
Yes, a legacy, indeed. All right. Speaking of setting the bar high and having expectations, maybe we go to Cailtin Clark's logo that debuted this week.
All right, yeah, let's give feedback on the logo. I loved this logo. Ashton, I'm curious what you think.
Ladies and gents, this is one of the first nice things that Oren has had to say about this. So here was the debut, in case you haven't seen it.
Yeah, this is what I kind of critique this as one of the only good things Nike has done in years.
Yeah, fair enough. You want me to put sound on?
Necessarily, which has 18 seconds of B-roll intro, which they should be shellacked for, but I get it. Yeah.
This is probably Wyden and Kennedy.
Cut down. It's a cut down from the 90-second TV spot.
Yep, that's true. I wish you were kidding. You're not. So this was the logo debut. Then she wore it on the real tragedy of all that is Caitlin has been hurt. I think she's only played 13 games this whole season. She has been out for 2/3 of the season. So they had her in a tunnel walk.
People. Sorry, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. Here's her.
There we go. Got a little monogram.
So Chanel of them.
It's a simplified way. Yeah, there was a lot of Chanel talk this week. There was my comment.
It's Chanel from the logo. It's Chanel on the court. You know what I mean? I'm there. I get it.
Yep. I heard Chanel. I heard a Pan Am aviation company.
It looks like the logo on the center of the court. It looks kind of like dribbling basketball, like in two places. We got the CCs. It's got some glam to it.
Oh, it's nice.
I mean, a little bit of shape.
I see the globe. For that global athlete thing.
But I want the objective opinion.
Ashwin,
what are you thinking? How are you feeling about this as a signature for the greatest athlete of our generation?
You got that like communist pickaxe in the middle and that negative space.
The hammer and the sickle really ties.
Yeah.
They got the Zorion in there,
so it's great. They're hitting all the points right here.
Yeah,
but it's like, so I'm curious, like what is she going to be making with Nike? It seems kind of high fashion style looking stuff. I don't know.
Well, it's smart. I mean, that's gonna be a complete signature line. You're gonna have the signature shoes, and it's gonna be extensive collaborations.
Yeah, let me show you. They did. Unfortunately, they like the easiest stuff is like this like tee.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
I know. That's what launched,
Oh God, is that I saw the pants and I got excited. Is Nike pulling Nike and everything's actually going to be shit?
Gosh. This is what they kind of
that doesn't look as bad on body.
Yeah, I guess
that first one was atrocious. It looks fine.
Yeah.
This is like
It's better than the Clark Shark if you scroll down.
The Clark Shark right here.
Oh yeah, it's a spotlight, but to me it looks like a Shark Week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's actually the thing that they'll do. They'll put that on. They probably won't put it on basketballs because she has a deal with Wilson.
Yeah,
but,
I saw those pants. And I was like, cool. If they just do like a slightly upend version of like the Sweats, athleisure, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, it
missing.
Could.
Female sports lifestyle brands.
Yeah.
For soccer, for this, where it's just like, hey, this is not necessarily pure active. This is not necessarily like a fashion wear, but is a casual wear that actually is like is designed.
Yeah.
How that doesn't exist is absolutely crazy.
I know. I think there's some who are trying, but like, Sabrina did some tights, I think, at All-Star Game that they did for her that I actually thought was a really good, like, here's an example.
Let's go.
She did these swoosh.
That's kind of fire.
Right? I mean, I think this is much closer to that same thing that they have Caitlin doing.
If they had the same brand equity they had like 6 or 8 years ago, those would be like going nuts in the streets and on like Outlander. It's
going insane. It's that type of stuff like the baklava or whatever that's going crazy right now.
Baklava is a dessert of.
Oh, sorry. How do you call it? Baklava?
It's a balaclava is the one that you wear when you're robbing people.
Yes,
and then
that's the one.
Is the
traditional
dessert of the Greek
not
people.
Not the dessert. The ski mask. But it's
also an amazing strain of Alien Labs cannabis, but that's a different conversation.
Oh yeah. No, we'll come back to that at some point. But it's that kind of like thing that starts in sport, but it ends up in lifestyle and streetwear. Is there's a big opportunity there. So yeah, all right. We like the logo. Shame it took this long. Hopefully she can get healthy and actually live up to all this hype.
Yeah, just know we'll be critiquing every step along the way.
Absolutely. And my comment.
If you want to hear your 24/7 Cailtin Clark branding coverage in Jordan's broadcast channel, just letting you know. All right, what's next on the list?
Speaking of rebrands, the United States government wants to give a facelift to all the digital interfaces, physical interfaces, and touch points. Better nation through design.
I was upset. They announced this, the chief design officer, but then they'd already hired somebody for it. I couldn't even apply.
That's ridiculous. They didn't consult with the internet's creative director?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm coming for next, I don't want to be associated necessarily with this administration, but in Trump's next term, maybe this will be,
Oh my gosh! Wait.
So actually, what are the full list of responsibilities here?
So here's the thing, right?
What's the brief from the Donald?
They've had this for years. They had this under Obama. They had this under Biden. They have like their chief digital team. There was an agency, I want to call it was like 18F, 19F or something. That was like the digital design agency for the United States. And they had like a product manager. They had design teams. I remember in like 2014, they hired a bunch of like ex-Twitter people and like ex-startup people to go do some stuff. It's always a question of like, what do they do? But we have a maze of government websites that are at varying levels of ease of use.
Do we think that the Doge team cut that contract? Can you imagine what that federal contract retainer is?
This is the most design-forward administration, whether you agree with their politics or not, that we've probably ever had, right? The president's weighing in on rebrands, like on social media. You have people like Elon Musk being like, these websites are unusable. You have like a Doge team who like people who like code and stuff being like, how does this exist? And so it is interesting that they're like, all right, this is a big enough problem. We need to like highlight and bring in somebody from the tech sector. Is an interesting move that, again, when you look at like the political landscape, like the Democrats not being like, we should just own good design and user experience. That should be something naturally associated with us in Silicon Valley, right? And then them ceding that to the right is a failure of communications.
Well, yeah, it's not the only thing they're ceding, I guess. Ashwin, what about, Zoran had the opportunity to take the design crown and now the right has taken this?
I think it's like, we got to see what actually changes from all of these websites. Like when I go to pay New York City business taxes and I go to like newyork.state.gov, I have to log in like 6 times before I can even go to pay the tax.
Any SOF website.
I have logged in quarterly for the past 10 years to pay taxes. Every time I log in there, I'm like, where are the buttons to go?
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, that is like the fundamental like baseline for how to evaluate like good design of like a digital experience is like, does a user retain a memory of like where things are and how to navigate the system? And every time it is this like new nightmare to the point where I'm just like, past 2 quarters probably haven't even paid business taxes because I'm like, no,
can we just be like, we're instituting a government-wide mandate to use material design? So at least all the stuff looks the same.
Google like freaking set it up, right? They already have it. It's just like,
yeah, exactly. It's literally a code base.
You don't need to create your own. You have all the systems, you have the type design, you have what good user patterns look like. But then you go to like the US like digital design, like systems and patterns, they tell you a lot of text of like, hey, this is what good design should be. Most people can't actually do anything with that design. Like if you say, hey, Jordan, don't overwhelm the user, that's going to be interpreted 75 different ways by people. It's like you need to show people like this is a good form. This is a bad form. This is what like a good success state looks like. This is bad.
The reason stuff like material design exists, so tech companies solve this, right? They come up with these design frameworks and they have these component libraries that goes with them. So for those who don't know, material design is Google's. You can make a website that looks like Google's and follows their design infrastructure. And it gives you, here's the size of the padding. Here's where the buttons should go. Here's your rules. And here's all these code components that you can just literally implement. And your website will look like a Google experience. So people can have a seamless experience with that if you want to design apps that look right on Android or whatever. And so whether the US government adopts an existing standard, and look, Alibaba has this with Ant Design. Like there's like a lot of people that Microsoft has this. It's where we got Plex Sans from. Like it's like there's a lot of these actual things out there. And so it's just like, hey, either we adopt a standard as the US government or for create our own, or you just take one of these existing ones made by US design titans and implement it across. But then if you look at like going through legacy systems and the technical debt to redesign them with 26,000 federal websites is like a massive undertaking. But to any point, like the slowness of the bureaucracy of the modern web is a travesty of the American experience that, if solved, is a game changer for the way all like basically our country's like ascent to the top of the technology food chain. It's like the stakes are high.
Yes,
we agree, and it looks like they've tapped the Airbnb co-founder.
Yeah, it's funny. I went on the the cursed. I don't know if I can call it cursed. I enjoy Threads, but the people on Threads don't know how to act on social media because they haven't been on Twitter for a long time. It's like Kara Swisher, cursed Kara Swisher, being like, he was the fifth most important, founder at Airbnb, and it's just like, okay, he's a designer.
I know. Kara Swisher would be like, "Oh yeah, we used to be friends, but then he did, something."
Yeah. Fifth most important. It's like, yeah, he probably is. No one knows his name, and he's a literal designer. At least it wasn't. At least it's not like they didn't hire the My Pillow guy.
Yeah.
Like that was on the table. It was the Airbnb guy or the My Pillow guy. They were like,
absolutely on the table.
My line on this is like, bad user experience is an affront to the American population from our government, right? Just like it's like a very important thing, right? Because like you go on and it's like trying to renew my driver's license on like the New York State DMV site. And it's just like a nightmare to try to figure that out. Okay, that's just like one person who's technically like savvy and adept. And that's like 30 minutes of frustration. Compound that across all ages, demographics, and inability to use this stuff. And it's like it's a huge problem when so many things that we're dealing with involve like a digital experience of some kind. So
you're really passionate about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel equally passionate. If this, okay, so let's scenario. When Trump's in his third term, they replace Joe. Is this something where you would feel called to service? Would you want this role? Whether it's his third term, whether it's Vance or whatever.
I am a champion of the need for doing this, but I think probably most of it goes nowhere because of the bureaucracy and technical debt. And so even trying to like revamp a website for an e-commerce business that does $100 million in revenue with like 30 SKUs comes with so much fucking bureaucracy and inputs from like 30 people on the team. God forbid you have 600 stakeholders at the New York State DMV weighing in on this. It's like, oh, we can't change that because of this reason. It's like, it would probably be very frustrating. I'm sure there's many competent designers who in the past have like redesigned these interfaces and been like, this is what it should be like. And they're like, there's no way we can do that.
So what I hear is that you're ignoring the noble call to use your skill set for the good of the nation. But
exactly.
I appreciate that. That is probably 100%.
But I will highlight the need for someone formidable to take that role.
Oren, would you take it?
Czar.
Yeah, sports czar. I was actually I don't know how I didn't get on the commission. The Bryson DeChambeau, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, is there a U.S.? I didn't even follow this. Is there like a U.S. sports commission that has Bryson DeChambeau on it? Because that's amazing.
Brother, yes. He was up there accepting, and he was standing next to Lawrence Taylor, which, by the way, did an event one time with Lawrence Taylor that really backfired. That brother, I thought he had like gotten his life together, and he had not. I had him in front of all these kids. Anyway, it was not good.
As soon as you're like, didn't have his life together, I had him in front of all these kids. It's just like I already know that story's going offline.
Oh my gosh! Well,
for all these sixth graders at
well, they didn't know anything, but we could tell that he was definitely under the influence. He was fine. Oren, would you take this role? Would you, if the government asked you to serve in this capacity, would you do it? Yes. I gotta think.
Regardless, look, Democratic administration, Republican administration, Independent administration. I'm not a libertarian, obviously, but any of the others, I would serve under.
Yeah, I think that I would. Oh yeah, there's the sports nutrition. Let's see here. The leadership is Triple H, of course. Duh. I mean, why not?
This is not a serious nation.
This is Harrison Butker. Nick Bosa, hold on. Okay, if y'all don't know, Harrison Butker is the guy who got in so much trouble for his valedictorian speech at that college. Hold on, please. You're going way too fast. Hold on. Go back up, AC. Nick Bosa is the guy who wore a Make America Great Again hat in a post-game interview for the 49ers, so that checks. Cody Campbell is a massive booster at Texas Tech and is trying to help college athletics. Roger Goodell, of course. Bryson, Nelly Corda, number one golf.
They got Gretzky. Isn't Gretzky Canadian?
Gretzky. Oh my gosh, there's not a single person of color on this list. This is all.
No, we got
Mariano Rivera and Lawrence Taylor. Of all people, Lawrence Taylor. Is that just like Trump's old desire to own the New York Giants or something like back in the heyday? Wow, what they want to bring back
on sports and nutrition. Well, look, this is good. Have you guys done the? I think it would actually be good content if we did the RFK Hegsworth challenge, the 100 push-ups, 50 pull-ups. Are you guys down for that? It's 10 minutes.
Absolutely, let's do it.
I would absolutely love to do it.
And I just love that they put that out in the New York Times. It's like, this is dangerous. You shouldn't try to complete this as an average American.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they're like,
the New York Times. What are they worrying about? Like the muscle thing?
You're not wrong.
50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups in 10 minutes.
So that's what they want the American standard to be, which is a completely reasonable standard. But the New York Times isn't wrong that most Americans would hurt themselves attempting it.
Yes. What's the thing that all the CrossFit people got, like thrombosis or something? Do you remember when people would get overly injured?
Thrombosis is a great name, whether that's the thing or not. I hope it's.
It is. It certainly is.
Overtraining. What was it called?
Deep thrombosis, where your veins are just popping out of your calves.
No, I know
American thrombosis.
I know multiple people who've gotten it. It would be, all right, I can't find the name, but it's basically like you overtrain, your muscles go crazy.
We're using thrombosis for any disease that we can't remember a name of, or any that comes up from here on. So that's fine.
Yes, totally.
Happy we added that to the vernacular.
All right, what else is on the agenda? We have anything else that's big? Hold on. I've got a couple questions from
niche
you.
News.
Niche news, yeah.
Someone DM'd me about Poppy's doing blind boxes, like Labubu style blind boxes. It's niche news.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, speaking of Labubu, I did want to show Naomi Osaka has some amazing Labubu. She's now coming out of these
Labubu on bag.
Yes, she's doing amazing glitter runway fits to the court.
What did they say on TikTok? Oh, yeah, her stylist understood the assignment.
Oh, she understood the assignment indeed. She's got beats glitter.
She got that coquette,
dude,
bling coquette. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. And then her.
How do we make sure that she comes across reserved and quiet wealth?
It's wild. I mean, the full glitter fit. Full glitter hair, and then the Labubu.
It's so funny in all the articles. She has this full glitter fit that's out, and it's glitter and Swarovski Labubu is what got the news.
She did it. She did
Beats. The real winner of that whole thing was Beats. That's the only logo or recognizable form factor I saw.
Well, it's true. Nike's getting some love here, but they're not going to be able to share any of it. She called this Labubu Arthur Cash, and the other one I think
Nike's not going to be able to swear any of the clips because they're talking about Labubu.
Yes, totally. Beats did an incredible college campaign that I did a video on. It's just it's your classic, I would say your classic big budget campaign that's slickly shot, has a bunch of athletes, has a cool track. They license the school names to be able to show them in NIL. This is if people want to know how to do NIL marketing, this is how you do it. You invest, go all the way. You don't have to get this many athletes, but you do need to sign the athlete and the college, and you do need to have
on feed with all those athletes. Good for them.
Yes,
it's doing some marketing.
No, honestly, it was really great because then they did it on feed there, and then they collaborated with the schools to highlight these as well. And so the schools would do a collaboration with themselves and their athlete and any other tertiary accounts that are associated with them.
was a great look for beats because like these guys were probably like when they were 7, they were like really wanting some beats, right? Like that, I think is the right age range where they were like, it was aspirational at that age and then kind of faded probably when they were in high school. And now, but like, it's like they're enough that they're like, oh, fuck it, you know?
Yeah, I think there's a chance for these to, make their comeback.
Look, the form factor, the design form factor, what Beats has best for it is a actual immediately recognizable form factor for a headphone. That like in the way that you have AirPods Max is recognizable now too, but it's like that is you have that forever. If you just can make that ubiquitous, it will be in the customer's mind, and they're doing a great job doing that for this gen. I'm not the gen they're marketing to, so I hadn't seen any of this, but I think that's a good job.
I also want to call out one thing, and I'm curious y'all's thoughts on this, but I think one of the biggest factors that brands have to think about now is if you're using the commercially approved like Hip Hop Beats 127 track. It's an auto scroll for people. And I think that brands don't understand enough. Like when you're scrolling through your feed and it's all trending audio and it's your friend and it's a cool hip hop track and it's
cool all the time on feed.
Bangers.
TikTok audio on, bangers. Yeah.
Bangers left and right? And it's like whether it's K-pop Demon Hunters or whatever the latest trendy audio is, Taylor Swift, whatever it might be, that's the rhythm. And so when you hear like ding, 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 ding,
so
whatever the commercially
licensed audio for all that was good?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, and it's perfect for them because they have, an artist who I'm sure is...
Yeah. That's actually a really interesting point. I got to make that brands need to increase their music budget video. We'll go fucking nuts.
Yeah. So I just think that's a real little nugget for people right now. That track, it probably costs about $5,000. Maybe they have like a homie deal with them. A lot of times you can't get the homie deal. Like at Nike, we would have Travis Scott and athletes like that or artists who were signed, and you still, even though they like try to help you out, like the record label and all that is not cutting you slack. So like $5,000, maybe 10, could be less. $3,500 sometimes for an up and coming artist. Like it's worth it. It's just worth it.
Use code Oren at MusicBed for
sorry, for other commercially approved tracks. Not always. It's not always. It's not a hard and fast rule, but I think more people would be better to just spend that extra dollars to get a track that actually.
There's still there are plenty of like decent music licensing platforms, but there needs to be like a speed of efficacy of like things are trending. You can buy access to use these in your videos, like a marketplace. Is a function that would make some of these networks a shitload of money. Feel free to hit me up for a consult on that, or just run with it so I can use it.
All right, I have a couple. We'll take 1 or 2 questions from listeners real quick. Oren, I just started a YouTube channel. What are do's and don'ts for brand visibility?
For brand visibility on YouTube, I mean, I think most brands on YouTube would be like, what are customer questions that are being searched? So, for instance, if you are like, hey, how is someone using our product? If you can look at volume on that, and vidIQ is a good tool for this. But like, I would try to show up for useful results first. This is what we did with lift foils, where we were like, anything you ever want to know, we want to be the destination for wake foiling and e-foiling. It's hard, it's niche, but we want to be showing up on like half the content. I think that needs to be strategy first before like episodic or series or any of that. So you can learn and understand YouTube and then be providing value around your topic to the people that come in, like leverage that organic first. If you're going to try and come out with personalities like a YouTuber or a channel, I think it's actually a really hard, it's harder than just doing it as a personality. And if you do, you need to do it like with a creator, the way you'd approach bringing a creator on TikTok. And then you have to really have a real long-term deal with that personality. Like we see that with the air stuff we did, right? Where like the episodes that Cailtin and I have a ton of views and everything else doesn't. It's hard to maintain consistency once you leverage that on.
And would the same principles be applying for a personality?
I don't think so. I think for personality, it is like packaging. Is you need to decide on the title, the topic, and the thumbnail before you record. And the title, the topic, and the thumbnail need to be amazing and current. And that's a lot of research. The tool for it, oneof10.com, is probably the best tool for that. But for instance, now everyone's doing this trend right now. It's the 7 layers of X, and there's a thumbnail style for it. And you can pop off with your video if you do a 7 layers of whatever, 7 layers of golf with that same thumbnail style. But you have to know that kind of stuff. So you kind of got to be in the weeds on YouTube and consume on YouTube to do it. And your packaging is everything. It's not even worth making the video if your packaging isn't just damn hot. Look, and we're in this conversation now. Like, obviously, our YouTube is like, okay, our packaging is okay. We have other methods to promote it, but we wanted to pop off on YouTube. We'd have to be putting a shitload of thought and effort into topic and packaging.
Yeah. I'm dealing with this now. I'm like, I'm brought on a producer to help me. I'm about to jump back into YouTube starting next week, and I'm like, I'm not even touching this before I have like rigorous thought, effort. I learned that trying it last year.
Yeah, look, and I pay somebody. I'll be straight. I pay Vexian. Shout out Vexian. It's like best dollars I've ever spent to help pop off on YouTube, and he's like worth his weight in gold. We just had another call yesterday. So every month he's like, here's what's trending. Here's what you should do about the trends. Here's the thumbnails that are trending for that. And I'm like, cool. That is me paying a high value dollar for a service that is super applicable. And if you want to pop off and you have some budget, I think that's more important, honestly, than your editing and shit. Fucking put it yourself in CapCut and pay a strategist who knows what they're doing to help introduce you to it.
How would somebody find a strategist? YouTube strategist.
There's a bunch of them on X is probably the best.
Okay.
So Vexian, who does me, it's just VEXIAN, I think _, and then there's this other guy Ollie, who I know works with Kane and a few others. Just start searching, like just anything on X is like you start looking at it, you're going to be inundated with those people, and just see what their offers are like.
Yep. Okay, and all right, let's see, maybe one other top 5 tools in your work. Ashwin, we've got an episode coming out for AI, the GPT agent that you just created. So stay tuned for that. Any other top tools that y'all are using in your work and what's worked over time?
I'm watching, I'm in this Twitter, like, I don't even know what they call it anymore. Maybe a list, but it's like, it's people who are like very good at like making AI stuff. And it's like, they break down their process and prompts and how they stitch things together. And I am very much like, listen, I would write copy like by hand, but I am not like dogmatic about saying, hey, that's how it has to be done. So I took what I know and I made a GPT about it, and I'm like an AI maximizer in workflows. So I'm doing all this stuff and I'm just like, yeah, great. How are people like making videos? How are they making hooks? How are they using whatever, like Nano Banana to like take like flat-based products and put it on people? And so I'm watching a lot of that stuff. So I'm up to date on it, because like you don't understand, people just keep talking about like AI slop. Dude, it is, if you're good at that stuff, there is no slop. It's very, very good. You have to be good at it. You have to be kind of on the cutting edge of knowing how to use and prompt these stuff. But if you miss all of that knowledge, like right now, there's this arbitrage of like people who are skilled, who can use like the cutting edge of these tools, and people who think like, oh, I went into ChatGPT and I told it to make a product render of like, this packaging, and it looks like shit and it has 6 thumbs. It's like, well, because you have no idea how to prompt this thing, the inputs that you need to give it. So like, I would say it's less about tools and more about staying like very much up to date on people who are playing with it every day and being like, oh, whatever they're doing, I need to just go do that. I'm going to go try that.
And setting some time aside to do it. Like I think I started doing 2 nights a week where I'm just doing AI tools at night. Like last night I was just using Higgsfield, which I just hadn't used before. I know a shitload about it. I spent like 90 minutes. I paid $30 for a monthly membership. And I think you have to do it. That's the thing, is everyone reads about the AI tools, but until you follow Ashwin's blueprint from the other week of like, write this prompt and upload all your docs, you don't understand the capability of it. And the generation's the same, because again, the slop isn't there, right? Like you go, especially in those apps and stuff, and you start to see, oh shit, I saw that thing on Instagram 5 or 10 times, but I didn't realize it was AI. I thought it was a 3D render or whatever, but it's actually a Higgsfield app. I think it's really important.
Yeah.
My wife sent me this like old British grandma that she thought was just a funny personality, and I was like, babe, that's an AI.
Dude, is it Darlene?
She's the hot pink, like funny British old lady who's like very luxury coded.
Yeah.
It
might be Dirty Darlene, right? Like I wrote off like this concept of AI influencers. There's this but there's this one Instagram account. I think her name's Dirty Darlene, and she has like incredible character consistency across all of the videos. She's always saying like something preposterous. She's like this 85-year-old grandma. I think she's like has like a southern thing to her. So probably
she's here. I see you follow her.
And it's like just like watch one of her things. Watch this, like just pop one of them open.
What's up, hoes? It's Darlene, and today I'm going to the U.S. Open, motherfucker.
Damn, Darlene. Fucking spitting.
I think so. She does all of these little clips where she just like gives advice or says something. Dude, I bet there's probably like 80% of people who follow that account who think she's a real woman and like not this AI generated thing. And so sure, there's all these like downstream questions of like what the world becomes when that's the case. But like if you want to see a good character model saying things in an interesting way where there's like not this obvious slop, I would just go check out that account.
And also, to talk about the AI hooks thing, which is the majority use case that I'm looking at this stuff for, if you just ran that 6-second clip right into a Hinge ad, it's a fucking wrap. That's how this works. You got hooked. You're, oh, that's funny. Okay, bam, traditional ad. It's just a thumb stop.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's accounts like that are actively, I call it the Hollow Alpaca account all the time because Hollow Alpaca is a ridiculous business. It's a socks account, right? They have, some D2C guys who have, by pure attrition of being like, we're just e-commerce guys, just forced this company to massive success by running 18,000 ads. And their ad account is literally them being like, newscaster, like, it's brutally hot today. The feet are burning up. And then like, bam, right into like infomercial ad. And the same thing with like, they'll have like a knight in full armor. And this isn't, again, their Instagram doesn't show any of this. It's just the ads account. And there's just AI guys with like their feet burning and shit. And then like right into an ad. And you're just like, oh, they're just, it's like such a good example of just like thumb stop, thumb stop, thumb stop, thumb stop. And I saw one the other day. I actually respected the hustle where it was like AI thumb stop into AI podcast ad into, I was like, oh, they just got some cracked creative strategists over there just being like, fuck it. Yeah.
I mean, chat, I will say last night before I rolled over into bed, I gave a 30-second prompt to give me an outline for a consulting agreement. And holy crap, 3 years ago when I became an entrepreneur, chat would have made my life much easier.
I mean, I just say like, shout out all the Brandfather sponsors, you know what I'm saying? Music Bed, Later, Particle, Omnisend, you know what I mean? Like Amazon, shout out the gods.
Lockheed Martin. All right, everybody,
Amazon
subscribe.
Use code Aura, not code Ashwin. I'm just kidding.
Indeed. Subscribe, comment, send to a friend. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, Oren will be out, I believe. Yeah. Ashwin and I may be interviewing the founder of Plunge and their influencer marketing strategy. He will be here in Dallas. So let us know if you have questions for them. Check out the AI tools.
To Amsterdam, I'll try to do it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how the Wi-Fi is, if you can stream in.
But I am excited to be at HubSpot Inbound, debuting their loop marketing features. So, keep look forward to that.
We can't wait to see the content, Oren.
I know y'all can't.
Inbound didn't bring back the other fathers, but it's all good.
Inbound
Carry the torch for us.
It's a coastal thing. It's on the West Coast this year.
Yes, indeed. Got to save on those travel costs. All right. You'll have a good one.
All right, guys.
All right, bye.